Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 69th Rome Total War Brotherhood battle that I've put onto YouTube. As you can see, this map is different from the usual map we play on. This is the Pripyat Marshes map, with lots of woods but big open plains as well. The team I'm in today consists of Brotherhood member Talos, who has bought the Thrace faction. Very unusual choice for 31k battlefield. Myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. Brotherhood member Killer B, who has bought the Rome Brutii faction. And Brotherhood member Pompey, who has called himself Celt, but it's actually Brotherhood member Pompey who has also bought the Rome Brutii faction. So as you can see here, this map is unusual. Plenty of woods for ambushes and some big open plains for open battles too. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at the Thrace army bought by Brotherhood member Talos. Now Thrace is very rarely bought to the 31k battlefield, so I thought it might be just a bit of fun to have a look. As you can see, Thrace have got the pikemen, their standard pikemen with their long pikes. And like all pike factions, as long as you keep those pike factions together and facing the enemy, they can be quite strong. They also have their heavy infantry, which are called the Bastani, and they are, they're heavy infantry there. As you can see, they look quite tough. And then their other heavy infantrymen are the Phalanx men here, and they're quite they look quite tough as well. So as not seeing Thrace fought that much on the battlefield, it'd be interesting to see how well they do. The only good cavalry units that Thrace got are their actual general units here. So Talos has bought several general units for his cavalry there. So there's Talos' Thrace army. Will be interesting to see how well it does against really good players. And here is the other team. We have Clan Greeksman Cleomenes, who has bought the powerful Seleucid faction. We have Scorpion King SR, a veteran RTW player who has bought the Rome Julio faction. We have RTW player called Player, who has bought the Rome Julio faction. Just to say that a lot of really good RTW players sometimes use different names on RTW, and I got a feeling that this is one of those players. And their final teammate is RTW player Luke, and once again he could well be another well-known RTW player with a different name. So there's the other team there, full of really great factions, and I got a feeling this should be a great battle to watch, especially Thrace. I thought at this stage of the battle we'd have a look at Greek Cleomenes' Seleucid army here. As you can see at the front, he's got his Silver Shield Legionnaires. They're like a bit of a weaker copy of the Roman urban cohorts. They can form testudo, and they can also throw pila. So they're quite a useful unit to have in front of your main battle line. Then of course he's got his main pikemen there with their long pikes. Quite a formidable pikemen there. And then they've got the infamous Seleucid cataphract tank cavalry here. And here you can see them. These guys really are like on tanks, and they can really pack a powerful charge and are quite difficult to kill as well. So there's Cleomenes' Seleucid army. It looks pretty good to me. At this early stage of the battle, on our left flank, you can see that Pompey's archers there are being hit by the enemy SPQR cavalry. That was a good move by the enemy team there to be able to swoop down on his archers there before any defense could be put into place there. So as you can see there, if you notice that Brotherhood member Talos has thrown his Thrace cavalry in there to try and help Pompey's archers there, but as you can see, there's a heck of a lot of enemy SPQR cavalry and infantry coming down there now. So it's really seemed to have kicked off here on our left flank. As you can see, Talos is throwing in some of his heavy infantry into the fray there. I'm not sure how well Thrace infantry would do against Roman infantry. It'll be interesting to see. As you can see, Pompey's Bruttii cavalry has just charged in there to try and help Talos his infantry. And there you can see that the Seleucid cavalry are also charging in now. And if you notice here on the left, you'll see that the SPQR cavalry, enemy cavalry, are also charging in there. So it's a heck of a battle going on there. And you can see I'm charging my cavalry in now. I brought my cavalry across and I'm charging them into the Seleucid tank cavalry there. So it's kind of all happening here on the left flank. As you can see, the enemy Julii cavalry have also joined the fray there as well.
Our ally has been slain. Now we will see if his men can hold in the face of this calamity.
And this certainly does look like the place where the action seems to have kicked off here. As you can see, we've got our Thrace ally, we've got Pompey's infantry there against all that cavalry and that SPQR infantry and cavalry as well on there on our left flank. So it's kind of really touch and go here on the left flank there. There's another cavalry charge going in there from I think it's from Pompey. And then you can see the enemy counter charging with their Seleucid cavalry there as well. As you can see, Pompey's brought some of his infantry over to help on the left flank there. And if you notice, I brought some of my infantry over as well. I've got a little mini army there where I've put an Eagle unit in with 3 urban cohorts. I think, and as you might have seen other battle videos of mine, I like to put a command unit in with any mini army I send anywhere, so that it gives that little mini army some morale there. Meanwhile, over on our right flank, you can see that our Bruttii teammate is being heavily attacked by the enemy Julii cavalry and infantry there. As you can see, our teammate has charged in with his Bruttii cavalry there in a counter-attack, but you can see more Julii cavalry charging into the fray. You can also see Julii infantry charging in as well. So the main action in this battle seems to be on both flanks, the left and the right flank. If you look in the centre, there's not really a lot going on. So this is quite an unusual thing, really, to have a battle where all the action appears to be on the flank at the moment. As you can see here on our right flank here, with the Julii and Bruttii armies fighting each other, it really is in the balance. We could do with getting some reinforcements over to our right flank. If you notice, I think it's Pompey's bringing over some of his Bruttii cavalry there. If you notice, I'm bringing over my cavalry as well. So if we can charge them into the enemy Julii army there, we could make a difference at this stage. If you notice, Pompey and myself are both charging our cavalry in at the same time there, hoping to rout as many Julii units as we can at this stage, just to try and take a bit of pressure off our ally on the right there. As you can see, there's a few of the Julii infantry units routing there. But I think the advantage that we had there was we moved reinforcements over very quickly to our right flank to help, whereas I don't think the enemy team have moved too many resources over to that flank to be able to help SR attacking. Meanwhile, back over onto our left flank, you can see that the enemy SPQR army is attacking quite aggressively there, and has got some of the enemy Seleucid pikemen there as well. So we're managing to hold on the left flank there. As you notice, as we pass over the centre, there's not much going on in the centre at all. It's just flank to flank fighting at the moment. Meanwhile, over on our right, you can see that some of the Seleucid tank, cavalry and Julii forces there have moved out even further to our right there. If you notice, I've broken my my main army up a bit more, and I've brought some more units over to the right to try and support our flank. If you notice, I'm charging my cavalry in here, hoping to maybe rout some of the Julii infantry there. But if you notice, the enemy are bringing some pike units over. You notice the Seleucid pikemen are running over, so I don't want to stay in that position too long with my cavalry, because as I'm sure a lot of you know watching this, you don't want to put cavalry anywhere near pikemen. So I'm now going to pull my cavalry back as I've seen those pikemen arrive.
The enemy general is slain, and now his
as you notice there, Julii general's been killed, and if you notice, almost immediately the morale of his troops dropped and a lot of his units have routed there. So as I said in other battle videos, if you can kill the enemy general, the morale drop is considerable, and especially when a lot of the enemy units are kind of battle damaged, their morale would drop even more when their general dies, and you can see a lot of units routing. As you can see there, our allied Brutii army infantry is moving forward there, engaging the Seleucid cavalry and also the enemy Julii infantry there. But it's still a bit of touch and go on either flank at the moment to see who's going to come out on top, because it's pretty tough on both sides here. You can see my my Scipii cavalry. I'm going to charge in now into the Julii infantry through my allies' infantry. But if you notice, the Seleucid tank cavalry are also charging in as well. So now that's going to be a real tussle there now. As you can see, you got Julii infantry, Julii cavalry, Seleucid cavalry against my Brutii allies infantry and my cavalry there. So it's really touch and go here on our right flank. In fact, I can see one of my cavalry units is routed. If you notice that there's more Brutii infantry being brought into the fray now, so that might just give us the edge on this right flank. If you notice, the Seleucid cavalry now have just routed, and those routing will actually lower the morale of his troops, allies' troops around him. As you can see, there's a little bit more action in the centre now with the fighting going on there. So, but mainly the main action are on the right and the left flank, really, as you can see here. If you notice here on the right flank, we seem to have routed most of the Julii infantry now, and we'll probably start moving our forces down towards the centre. Meanwhile, over on the left flank, you can see the fighting is still intense there, and still really could go either way there on our left flank. As you can see, Pompey's just charging him some cavalry there. But if you notice, mostly on our right flank now, we've beaten most of the enemy team there on the right flank. So all we need now is to start bringing our victorious armies from the right to the left, and to try and kind of roll up their line as we go down. There are still some enemy infantry units left there, which we will have to deal with, but I would think, looking at it, it looks like on the right flank we seem to have routed most of the enemy forces there. As you can see, the enemy Julii infantry are bringing up more reinforcements after seeing that their flank is gradually breaking. And I think there's a couple of Seleucid pike units as well moving up. So after some very intense fighting on that right flank, we seem to have prevailed there, and are moving our victorious troops down through the centre over to the left flank. As you see, there's quite a wedge of enemy Julii infantry and Seleucid pikemen there. So probably have to stop to take them out before we can move over to the far left flank to relieve the pressure over there. As you see now, with them being in such a tight group, we can get behind them to the flank and all round them there. So it's, I would think we would soon be able to rout them. And there's another couple of Julii units fighting there in the centre. As you can see here over on the left flank, we're managing to hold quite well there. And it's just a case of just waiting now for our victorious allies from the right flank to come over. As you can see, Pomp is charging his cavalry in there into probably tired enemy troops. He could cause a few units to rout there, and bang! You see those units starting to rout as his cavalry hits. That was a good hit by Pompey there into tired enemy troops, and that's why they've routed. Meanwhile, back up in this position, you can see the enemy units starting to rout now. If you notice, they're almost surrounded and being attacked from all sides, so their morale will have dropped like a stone there, and that's why they've routed, because I think they were already battle damaged anyway. So we move off now.
Great gods be praised!
And if you notice on the left now, we've routed the enemy forces on the left, and we're just all closing in on the last few enemy Julii units that are left. If you notice in that battle, it was quite an unusual battle there, because the action was on the flanks. That's where the main fighting was done, and hardly anything in the centre at all. So it was one of those strange battles again. I think I've shown others on our YouTube battle channel where it was just kind of flank fighting, and the centre was pretty passive really. But as you can see, we're just killing the last of the enemy Julii infantry there. As I say, I think it's an unusual battlefield, this, the Pripyat Marshes. It's as you've seen, it's got great woods, so you can bring barbarian factions to get the woods bonus, and you can actually, you can do ambushes and hide troops and things like that. But also, you've got big open plains. So if you fancy a bit of open plains battles, then you've got that as well. So it's a pretty good map, the Pripyat Marshes. You don't see it used that much, but it is pretty good. As you can see, the last Julii general there is fighting to the last man and has finally been routed.
Is running away.
So that was a great battle.
Great gods be praised!
Yeah, I would just like to say really well played to everybody in the game. I thought there were some massive cavalry hits and some really great tactics in that game. I thought the Brotherhood team's teamwork was absolutely great there. If you noticed, on both flanks where we were being attacked heavily, we moved reinforcements to those flanks quite quickly to kind of shore up both flanks. So it was pretty good teamwork there by the Brotherhood team. And I thought the other team played very well as well. Pretty good tactics. And as I said before, some really massive cavalry and infantry hits. This is Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed the battle, and bye for now.